A lot of amateur golfers out there, you're making this one mistake and it's causing you to miss the fairway with your driver. What is it? You're not aiming correctly. Today, I'm going to show you how to aim this particular club, the driver, because it is different than other clubs in your bag. I'm PGA teaching professional Todd Cope, Director of Instruction for US Golf TV. And this club right here, it's the driver. We love hitting the driver, but there are some things that are different with the driver that make aiming a real challenge. Number one is it's the longest club in your bag. Number two, it's got the least amount of loft. And number three, a lot of drivers have a different shaft angle, which can really play tricks on your eye. So I'm going to walk you through some core concepts you can aim. So when you hit a good shot with your driver and you hit the ball in the center of the face, it ends up in the fairway. So let's dive right into it. Now, here's the first thing you got to understand. Most traditional drivers, okay, they don't have anything on the top of them. They're just, there's no markings, there's nothing. It's just kind of a flat spot on the top, right? It's also long and the face is really rounded. Now, why is that important? Why do you need to be aware of that? Well, because when you aim a traditional driver or a driver, when there's nothing down there as a reference point, it's easy to get it open, closed, or wherever. The other thing too is as the shaft angle gets lower, the club face angle will change as well. So when I move the club shaft up, the face changes. When I move it down, it can change. Now, when you think about other clubs, like your putter, it's got a line on it, right? So that's why I'm excited today to be using my MaxVert, the first driver ever specifically designed for the experienced golfer, because it's got specific aiming features on the top that can help us aim correctly. We like to call it the Fairway Finder. The Fairway Finder line, it's this nice red line here. So let me go ahead and get set up. Let's talk about what we want to do here. So when we put the club down, you want to have something that you can point down the target line. So I've got the red line right here on the top of the MaxVert, and I'm just going to point it at the target or where I want the ball to finish. Let's just go ahead and hit a shot here. So I've pointed that red line right down the target line. Nice. Popped off the face, dead straight. So when we're aiming with the driver, the first thing you got to do is you got to have some reference point to work off. Okay, the MaxVert's got it, it's got the red line. Or one suggestion you might do if you're using a traditional driver, okay, which is okay, nothing wrong with a traditional driver, maybe you want to put a little line on there or a little piece of tape when you're practicing or something to give you a reference, much like on your putter. Most putters have a line on there because it makes aiming a lot easier. So let's tee up another one. Let's talk about the feet and the body and where those should be when we're hitting the driver. All right. So with the MaxVert, it's easy because I've got the red line right on top, but the feet, if you watch any of our videos here at US Golf TV, and if you haven't done this already, hey, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and you know my favorite thing, Nick and I, we love hearing where you're from. Okay, put that in the comments. We get people from all over. I had one the other day from India. We get a lot of people from England and our friends up in Canada. We love you. Okay, you're probably down here in sunny Arizona this time of year. If it's nice and cold up in Canada, you're heading south and finding some warm spots to play some golf. So put that in there. Now, the feet, what do we want the feet to be? Well, the first thing I'm going to tell you is let's get the club face aimed first, because the club face is what dictates mostly where that ball is going to start, right? So I'm going to aim the club face and you're going to put your feet together, all right? And then we're just going to go ahead and separate and separate. Now the beauty of this is that when we put our feet together, like you can see here from the front view, when my feet are together, it's much easier to see if they're straight or if they're closed or if they're open. So by just simply getting them close together, making sure your toe line is nice and straight, aim the club face. I got the Fairway Finder right down the middle. Now I'm just going to go ahead and separate. Okay, and let's hit it. Oh yeah, that one had a nice, actually, that one popped. That had a little bit of a draw bias to it. So that's the first two tips. Let's get the club face aimed first. That's the first tip. Get the club face squared up, then work your feet off the club face. Now, the third and the final piece of the puzzle here is the upper body. Let's talk about that. Now, if you've watched any of our stuff here at US Golf TV, you know that I like a slightly closed stance with the feet, okay? Helps us draw the golf ball. And I like the shoulders to be slightly tilted and closed as well. So let's go ahead and build that in there. So I got the Fairway Finder line, pointing it right down the middle. It makes aiming super easy. I've got my toes together. separate, separate. Now I want your shoulders, okay, to be ever so slightly closed. Now why is that important? Why do I want my shoulders slightly closed? Okay, well you know this if you follow the stuff in the vertical line swing system, is that when the shoulders are slightly closed, it promotes, it doesn't guarantee, but it promotes the club to swing more from the inside. Okay, when the shoulders are open, and there's a lot of golfers, a lot of you out there, okay, you got your shoulders open, you're sitting like this, that's gonna promote an out and across swing path. So when you're in there, get those shoulders a little bit closed up. So let's tie it all together. Here we go. Fairway Finder line, right down the middle, feet together, a little separate, little separate. Let's take the shoulders, bring the left shoulder towards the ball a little bit, raise the handle slightly. Woo. Best one of the day right there. The easiest way to find the fairway is to aim for the fairway. These tips right here are going to hopefully help you do just that.